So in this video, I want to talk about 3 different game systems that I got to play at a recent convention, and so you can get an idea whether you'd like them or not. And we'll do all that after the intro. So recently I got to attend Ecclesicon, and this was the first time they ever ran this convention, and I think it was so much fun and such a good success that they're also going to run it again next year in March of 2025, and I have the link to the con's website in the description below, and it was run by Wes from DM's Tales, and I have his link in the description below as well. And so I had known him a little bit online, and it was great to meet him face to face. And it was just a really wonderful convention. Everybody there was so nice. And I got to play 3 different games, 2 of which were brand new to me. So in this video, I want to talk about all 3 games and what I liked and maybe what could have been a little bit different for them. So you can decide whether you're interested in checking them out. So one of the game systems I got to play was not new to me and may not be new to many of you. And that was basic Dungeons & Dragons. This is the 1980 edition by Tom Moldvay. And the fellow who ran it rules as written, 100% by the book. And we had 4 players, and it was very theater of the mind. We weren't moving little figures around or anything. The DM drew maps as needed as we went. Okay, you go in here and you can go left or right, just on a regular old piece of paper. And as I said, it was rules as written. We used descending armor class. We kept track of gold, death at 0 hit points. And in fact, one of the characters did die. So it wasn't brand new to me by any means, but I think if you've never played an old school game, and maybe some people haven't certain ideas, well, the old school games are this way or that way, I just think it's really good to get that experience. And I would encourage you, if you haven't, to give that a try. You may not play it forever, or you may like some things more in the modern editions, and that's fine. But I think it's good to, get a feel for the real roots of the hobby. Now, the second game I was really interested in checking out was Easy D6. And this was run by Wes from DM's Tale, who was also running the convention. Now, this was a much bigger table. We had 8 players, and he was running a homebrew adventure. It was basically 3 short delves. So it was still very Dungeons & Dragons inspired. Now, interestingly, he had a big TV monitor, like an LG monitor with little legs on it, and was running, I believe, Foundry VTT. So instead of us moving things around, he was able to move tokens around on the map and show us some images, like the map of the town and things like that. Now, I would say Easy D6 is really good in terms of a convention or a one-shot. There's a lot of organized chaos. So not only do you have your D6s and you have a hero dice, but you get poker chips, which you can spend as benefits, to increase a dice roll. So there's a lot of organized chaos, poker chips being cashed in and poker chips being thrown out to the players as they earn them. It's a lot of fun. It's a bit gamey, maybe. I don't know how well that would work online, with switching the chips around and all that, although I guess you could just, add a little dot on the characters. Now, the game that he ran was lighthearted and, humorous. It wasn't like totally ridiculous. I mean, there was a plan to the thing, but it was a much more lighthearted game. And then the last game that I got to play in was run by Dan from Avenue Studios, link in the description below, and he was just wonderful. He was a very wonderful game master. I highly recommend if you get a chance to play with him. Now, there were 5 players at this table, and it was set up to be a very family-friendly experience. And in fact, we did have one family, a couple and their 8-year-old daughter playing at the table, and then myself and another lady. So that was good. It's nice to have games like that as an option where there's nothing spicy or you have to worry about for children. And it was, again, a very lighthearted journey into a wizard's tower because, a potion or a spell had gone wrong, and we were going in there to fight these plants that were causing all this trouble. Now, there's a lot of dice rolling in Open Legend. There's exploding dice. So a lot of times you'll roll a D20 and let's say a D6. And that 1D6 is your attribute bonus. And if either of those come up with the maximum value, either a 20 or 6, you roll them again. And you can roll them again. In fact, I had some dice explode in that way, and I had a 46 on one of my rolls. So there's a lot of dice rolling. Again, kind of like EZD6, there's tokens that you can exchange. In fact, my character was saved by tokens at the very end. And I think with Open Legend, what I would say is it's almost the exact opposite of Basic Expert. It's almost, I don't want to say as far as you can get away from it, but it's a much more cinematic and heroic system. It's counting your gold, and exactly which weapon you have is a lot less important. So what's my verdict? Would I play these systems again? I'd play all three again. And absolutely I would play under the Dungeon Masters or Game Masters that I played under at Ecclesicon. They were wonderful fellas, and they really knew their stuff. So I definitely would play in any of these systems again. I would not turn my nose up at any of them. Now, the other question that's interesting is, would I run them? And, you know, obviously your mileage may vary, so I can only talk about myself. Now, in terms of BX, I tend to run Basic Fantasy when I run that style game. It's a little more modern with Ascending Armor class, but it really does the same thing. And I'm a big fan of Basic Fantasy. You know, if you want to check it out, just do a net search on Basic Fantasy, because you can have all the rules for free online. So I think that's the advantage. And there's some things that are a little different than BX, maybe a little more modernized. But nothing wrong with certainly running or playing BX or AD&D or anything like that. I think it's a good experience. Now, EZD6, would I run that? I'm not sure. It tends to lend itself to, I think, humorous scenarios, although probably not. So I don't know. I guess maybe I'd like to learn more about it, or I'd like to see it run or play in a game where we were using it, but maybe in a more traditional game. There was nothing wrong with the humorous game I played in. I thought Wes did a great job. It was his own creation, that game. But maybe I'd also like to see it, you know, what if you were trying to go through the Caves of Chaos, like Basic Fantasy or Basic Expert. You know, how well would it work for, like I said, I don't say a more serious game, perhaps. I'd just like to see that. Now, Open Legend. I should also mention that Open Legend, if you go to their website, you can get all the rules for free there as well. Now, you can buy a print copy, although as I'm recording this video, the print copies are sold out. I think they're kind of between that. They're in the process of cleaning some things up, and then they're going to print it again, maybe with a different printer. So I don't think it's available for purchase as I'm recording this, but it might be till you watch this video. So I'm only telling you what I know as of recording. I think this would be really good, or I'd consider running it, for players who really want to customize their characters. In a lot of ways, I think it could be like a toolkit, like GURPS or even Fudge. You're not really locked into character classes for this with Open Legend. So I think that, you know, like I said, if you have people who want to design the perfect character or a certain type of character, this could really, really be for them. However, if you're trying to run it as a more, or for a group that's a little less experienced or isn't as into the character design, you may need to take a little bit of time on your own to design these characters. So I like the system. Again, I think I'd like with EZD6, I think I need to play it again, or I need to watch some open play videos just to learn a little bit more about it. So what new games have you played recently? Or what good face-to-face experiences have you had gaming recently? I hope you'll tell us about it in the comments, and we'll see you next time. So if you'd like to check out or purchase any of our products, we have 3 books that are in print: The Star Mermaid, The Dwarven Pickup Truck, and The Sky Tree. And the best place to get the print versions is through Amazon or Lulu. And also over on DriveThru, you can get the digital versions, or you can we have a number of other adventures and character classes and even some stock art available on DriveThru. And then on the Roll20 Marketplace, we have some map packs and also character cards for use. So wherever you like to shop, odds are we're there. And hopefully, we hope that you'll subscribe and like the video, and we'll see you next time.